Okay guys, here, welcome back to Pax Europiana. I'm here on the road to Mitrovica, to the famous town in the north of Kosovo. And you see, first of all, what is very important, you see the infrastructure is improving. This is of course not the super highway as we have in all other directions, but the highways are developing, and here there is everything under construction because this country works and there is progress everywhere. Obviously now it's complicated because there is a construction site, but it's happening. And point number two, you see for example Bini, it's one of the SMEs. Here another, it's a furniture company. You see a lot of companies who are developing, and this company for example is rather big. Look at it, it's not small, it's quite a big, I would not even call it a SME, but a really serious Mittelstand like we have it in Germany and Austria. This is good because Kosovo is moving upwards and it's getting better. And by the way, you see here the construction site, it's developing. They will do a 4-lane highway now, not a full-scale highway, but a speedway towards Mitrovica, towards Vostri, and it's quite amazing and it's actually very beautiful, and there is a major progress. Additionally, see that we have a lot of agriculture potential here in this country, a lot of tourism potential in this country, and a lot of energy potential because all this here is brown coal. And of course now it's very unpopular, and everybody's against coal. But if we have better technology, obviously we can use that one in a different form, not to burn it, but to gasify it or to use it in other ways, the energetic value. We just need better technology, better infrastructure, better connectivity with the European grid, and also the coal of Kosovo will be available on a decent, environmental, reasonable way for energetic use. And that will lift this country to a new level of prosperity. And you see the prosperity is happening in every house and every village already. They are building and improving. Because why? Because they have security here. Because NATO and the 6th Fleet here in the West is protecting this country. And this matters so much. That's also my motivation to fight so much for Austria to join NATO. Because then also Serbia has no cheap excuse anymore to join NATO, and Kosovo can join NATO, Bosnia can join NATO, and now the Northern Europeans have solved their problem of security by joining NATO with Finland and Sweden, and now it's time also for the Balkans to join NATO with Kosovo, Bosnia and Austria to be the first, and one day there will be a turn to the west of Serbia, and that is very important. Here you see another famous Pestova, another famous SME, which is not in construction, but I think this one is in agriculture. This Vipa, I think, is chips or something like this. And agriculture, yeah, exactly, agriculture company, food production. This is of course a big sector as well in this country. And Kosovo is moving forwards and upwards, and that's very good. The construction sector, the IT sector. You might have followed the big tour of the Prime Minister now towards Silicon Valley. And some years ago everybody was laughing about Silicon Valley in Kosovo. What is that? But it's happening and it is going forward and upward. You see the people invest in their houses, they have trust in the future because they have security. They know they will come to the European Union one day, as my wish, 2029. We will see, because of Macron's complete obstructionism. Of course that's a problem, but it's entirely possible, and they will be ready, regulatory and implementation level, in 2029. And if the French dominate Europe, they will never join the EU, but if America will support them, they will join the EU. And it was always like this in the last 70 years of the EU. And it will be like that as well in this case of Kosovo's and Ukraine accession. You see, by the way, the petrol station here in Kosovo, they are all like Hollywood kind of style supermarkets, and they are really very well developed because there is real competition in the petrol sector and they are working very fine. Here you see another, that's a car part manufacturer and sales agent here, and it has really upgraded itself because of the security of the land and the security of the investment and the firm fundament of the euro. This country is moving ahead. Investment makes sense here, and the companies, the families, it's mostly family-owned companies, they can really expect long-term stability financially with the euro. They know the future is securely towards Europe, and they know they are protected by America via NATO, and so they invest because they have the trust in the future. because the main fundamentals, currency, security, and the long-term strategic regulatory alignment with Europe is secured. Another beautiful company here, another investment there. So Kosovo is really moving forwards, because here, of course, they know the speedway is now under construction. There will be a lot of opportunities attached to it. People will go much faster to Mitrovica. In the time where I was working here, it was a big disaster. The road was like that, and there was no future. Like, it was difficult, and a lot of accidents, a lot of fog, because of course there is a problem in Kosovo with water. One day it's too much, one day too little, and then it's not working, and there's a lot of traffic accidents on this road. But now the people know that Vuštri, here, beautiful Vuštri, can be reached so fast already in the future from Pristina. Just in 30 minutes you can be there, and you see all this beautiful agricultural output land, and also this opportunity here with the infrastructure, the opportunity with agriculture, with construction, with IT, with obviously also producing construction material or furniture or car parts. All these things can be done here in Kosovo. And when we have supply chain issues, why to go to China? When we have agricultural crisis, why not use this land more fertily and better with more European subsidies? And all this is happening much better inside the European Union, because then we have full regulatory alignment and full implementation control and full regulatory and judiciary access to the countries. So it's much better inside the European Union than outside, because it's very lonely outside, and we shouldn't be lonely anymore in Europe. We must respond with more unity to the question of the Russian challenge and the Russian war against us, because it's all of us they want to threaten. It's of course happening in Ukraine, and here in Kosovo they stand in full solidarity with Ukraine, by the way. Just, the Ukrainians have not really understood it and have still not recognized Kosovo, and that's a big problem, and they should do that. Because the Kosovo development model of NATO accession, of euro as the currency, of regulatory alignment with the EU 100%, and obviously Western orientation of foreign policy by joining all the sanctions of the EU immediately, this is the right to development model also for Moldova, Georgia and Ukraine. And they will be much more successful, as I say, since 5 years, if they follow the Kosovo development model. But they have not even recognized Kosovo, and it's completely confusing what they are doing. Anyhow, Slava Ukraina, I support them 100%. But I think when you see the progress in the last 20 years of Kosovo, from nothing to this level of development, it is really major progress, and this is what should be done as well. By the way, many people in Kosovo work in Kazakhstan. They are building in Kazakhstan many palaces because of these links with the one construction company from Switzerland, which is Kosovo owned. It's Mabitex. They are building because, as you see, building is something they really know how to do here in Kosovo, and they do it very well. And that's of course amazing. Here you see this new complex. This city is one of the Byzantinian ring of beautiful cities, like Brisen, like Čakovo, like Peja, like Vuštri, and like they have, and also Pristina to a lesser extent. But these countries and these cities around this ring, the Byzantinian golden ring of Kosovo, they have a lot of beautiful castles, because this was one of the Byzantinian towns between Italy and Istanbul. And of course they had the trading routes, and they have this ancient building in the center, which is now, with the help of the Americans and Europeans, renovated very nicely. And by the way, you see here again one shopping center. You see the construction is moving really very nicely. You see also the SMEs going very good, and you see how the country is developing because of the triple stability in currency, security and future, EU, NATO and Euro. And that makes such a big difference. And that's really the miracle of Europe. When you have the Euro, you have the EU and you have NATO, then you are just fine. And it works so well because of regulatory alignment, currency stability and outside security. And the rest is just time and effort and hard work. And people work hard if they have obviously very good low taxation. It's of course amazing, because here we have been able to introduce 10% taxation in corporate and maximum 10% in income, and smaller steps as well for lower income families. And then of course investment makes a lot of sense. You have the stability of the euro and the high returns of low taxation level, and that's the perfect system. What is of course missing is major energy investments in this country, and we have 20 years of chaos and political irresponsibility waiting not to lift the coal resources and then do a lot of non-decisions, and then we really still not produce enough energy in Kosovo, and this must be changed now. And again, it's the Americans who are leading the change here towards improvement, and there will be massive renewable energy investments now coming up in this country, and that is very good, yeah? Because Southern Europe has of course the sun and the wind, and now let's use it, and biomass and also modern forms of using coal, and that of course the water resources. But now we will have a very dry year again, so it will be very difficult to produce a lot of energy with water. So solar must be in the mix, because the heat is there and the sun is shining, and there will be of course many opportunities. You see already here in Vuštri there was a very good mayor, and they have done this 4 lanes, and that's very good. In many parts of Southern Europe you don't have so much nice 4-lane construction as here already very effectively. And here this is a nice exit of Vuštri, and we are now heading towards the north. I will inform you about all things northern now when we are heading into Mitrovica, and I will keep you posted from Pax Europiana. But just here see again, the SMEs are working, the construction here, the commercial zone. This is normal European commercial development of SMEs based on the Euro, NATO security and EU regulatory alignment. And please, Ukrainians, do the same. Do it like Kosovo. It's the way to do it. And also for Moldova and also for Georgia. This is much better than the failed model of devaluation and maybe Europe or not, and neutrality, and all these failed models which have only created chaos, havoc, and led ultimately to war. And this is what we have enough now. And we need peace based on NATO, EU and the Euro. And that's the logic of Kosovo. And please, wherever you are, recognize Kosovo. It has deserved it. People are working hard. They are doing the right thing. They escaped the clutches of Milosevic, and they are now free. And freedom works if based on security in NATO and regulatory alignment with the EU and a firm fundament of the Euro. Then freedom has the way to prosper, and money comes because investment makes sense, and suddenly everything blossoms, and that's the way to do it. I will keep you posted. Please see here also the construction opportunities over there, and you see here again SMEs everywhere, and you see this beautiful day and the better infrastructure, and more to come from Pax Europiana. I will keep you posted in the coming days about the north of Kosovo, and I'm looking forward, and thanks a lot. And please subscribe, the subscribe button, and thanks for all the 619 which have done that already, and more to come. And follow everything on my Twitter feed. I will keep you posted with a lot of tweets all the time in the coming days, and thanks a lot. More to come from Pax Europiana, here from European Kosovo, on the way to the EU membership, NATO membership, and luckily 20 years ago they introduced the Euro already, and that was such a good decision. Do the same, copy Kosovo. It's a success model from destruction and war and disaster towards medium level of prosperity, and the way is only up. Thanks a lot, and more to come from Pax Europiana. Bye.